So we'll pretend that I'm a bank employee. We'll call the bank Truthful Bank. And you come in for a mortgage. I should sit down, fill out your agreement. And as you're filling out the agreement, but before you get to the bottom, I'm explaining that what you're actually doing there, although it's called an agreement, once it's all filled out with the numbers in writing and in numbers and words, and then when you sign it, you actually change that agreement into a promissory note. And what we, the bank, do then, we tell you, but all the other criminal banks don't. What they don't tell you is that when you sign it, you create the promissory note, which then pays for your mortgage in full. Gone. You don't owe another penny on your mortgage. But of course, because we have to do it the way that the banks have to do it, because the financial ombudsman says we have to do it the same way that the banks do it. What we then do, if you're agreed, of course, bearing in mind you've paid for your house off in full, you owe it without any encumbrances, it's all paid for. We then do, as all the other banks do, we scam you. We get you to then fill out a contract. And notice the first one was an agreement, because that was just the money, you paying for it outright. Then we get you to fill out a contract. And what we do there is we get you to put the house that you've just paid for in full up as collateral for the imaginary money that we lent you, because of course we didn't lend you any money, because you created a promissory note which we then securitise and sell on, and it pays for the house out in full anyway. So we then get you to fill out the contract, and we scam you into using your house which you've paid off in full. We scam you into using it for collateral on a loan that you don't owe. But that's just the way banking works, just the way things are done. Don't worry about that too much. So now you've filled out the contract, and it is an absolute con. Every bank does it. We then put a charge on your property for the full amount. You don't see this though. It's a charge done on paperwork behind the scenes, if you like, behind the land registry. Then we get you to pay us the money back which you never borrowed in the first place. Don't worry about it, all the banks do it that way, so it must be okay. Financial ombudsman say it's got to be done that way, so don't worry about it. It's just the way banking is. It's a complete and utter scam. The same applies to loans. You take a loan out, again you create the money. When you sign the agreement, you create the promissory note, which is whatever you're borrowing in full, which the bank puts into its other account, not the one that you know. Then they pretend to lend you your own money back. If I was telling a joke about this, you'd be laughing about it, except this is what goes off. Then our bank, the Truthful Bank, pretends to lend you the money back that you just created with your agreement, and then we get you to pay it back in full. And of course you'll get them saying, well, if you borrowed it, you should pay it back. But of course you didn't borrow anything. You created it when you signed the agreement. So you don't owe anything in the first place. And those that say, if you borrowed it, you should pay it back, are just not willing to accept that they have also been scammed. And they think they're far too intelligent to get scammed. So therefore, we must be crazy and we must be robbing the banks. Nope, it's the other way round. The banks are robbing and have been robbing us since their inception. It's just now it's even worse. It's even more in your face. And there's enough people talking about it, telling you that, like us, Truthful Bank, we tell you what's going off. Other banks, they don't tell you, and they won't tell you, and they'll try to say it's not real, even though it's all in there, it's all out there. You just do a bit of research, you find it out. So now your mortgage, now you signed that contract, you're going to be using the property that you bought outright when you filled out your agreement as collateral for the money that paid off the house in full. But then again, we're not supposed to tell you that, but we, as at Truthful Bank, we do tell you. Now, if you miss 3 payments of on this mortgage, death grip, if you miss 3 payments, we're going to come and take the house off you. We're going to charge you for taking the house off you, and if you try and fight us, we're going to send in bailiffs to throw you onto the streets. Even though the mortgage never existed in the first place. It was paid off as soon as you signed the agreement and created the money, the funds that paid it off in full. What's more, because all banks operate the same, we're then going to get the police, who are bought and paid for by the banks, to come and assist us throw you onto the streets. Because we own the bank, we own the police, we own the bailiffs, we own the courts, we're the banks, we own everything, we own the government. Why do you think they passed legislation making this criminal act lawful? Legal at any rate, because it can never be lawful. But that's what we're dealing with. I hope that's clear for you now. I hope you can see the scam that every single bank is pulling on everyone that ever goes to think they're going to lend something from a bank. Banks can't lend you anything. They can just commit fraud and rob you. Have fun doing some research and finding that out.